Welcome to project number 2, instructional resources. These will be instructional resources I'll use for an independent reading, which is what some kids don't do a whole lot of. They find it boring. They're often instead on screens or playing video games these days. So my independent reading is called First Chapter Fridays. It's kind of a way to introduce books to kids. This will address a lot of different ISTE standards. Now, First Chapter Fridays, what I'll do first is introduce anywhere from 3 to 5 new books on Friday. These books come from the Department of Library's Golden Dome list. I will introduce them, give little book talks, and the kids will be able to vote, and I'll read the first chapter of one of these books. And the kids will just have to listen. Then once they've listened, I have a couple different activities. This first one is kind of a sketch note or doodle note where they can give their first impressions, how they connected with the book, if they have any questions, whether they'd be interested in reading it. There's even a little scale down there about how much they liked it. This is another one. I really like the colorfulness. I thought it was very eye-catching. I like to be able to do that on Canva. Again, with very similar questions, what their first impressions were, how they can connect. I did upload this one to a Google Slide. That does make it easier to assign it in Google Classroom. I was also able to create these click to add text boxes, and that's a great way to differentiate for those kids with dysgraphia or who struggle with handwriting. They can use speech to text, or to type instead. I then used my classroom header, changing it to First Chapter Fridays, and made a Google form just to kind of change it up and use a different strategy again for students to be able to give their feedback on what they thought about the book that they heard, what their impressions were, if they were interested in reading it. At first, I'll probably just assign each one of these to introduce the different activities. This one is from Flipgrid, and you can assign a topic. This is also a really good way to differentiate for kids who struggle with writing, and they can work on their speaking skills. I really do like this one because you can also have kids watch each other's and give feedback and really start that discussion about literacy and different books. I'm hoping as the year progresses and kids are really getting into their books, which is the goal here, that we have a bulletin board in classroom called #CurrentlyReading. I found a lot of these things in different resources on the web and in books, and was able to connect to a lot of the Common Core state standards. Now, I'm hoping that these First Chapter Fridays will eventually, because this is upper middle school, 7th grade, that students will be able to start to want to share their favorite readings and do some read alouds as well on First Chapter Fridays. Thank you so much.